So, Dani, they have until midnight. Is there really any chance that they're able to sort this out over the next 11 hours?
Kaylee, it looks extremely unlikely, especially considered that there are no negotiations, there are no talks scheduled. The International Longshoremen Association put out a statement shortly after 11 using very strong language, saying that the USMX, that is the United States Marine Association, who oversees the employers of these ports, saying that they were the ones standing in the way of an agreement. The chasm between the two is vast. The longshoremen want a hefty pay increase, nearly 80% over the next 6 years. They also want language written into the contract about automation. Kaylee, this might be one of the biggest sticking points. The docks here, they want automation. They are falling behind with what the rest of the world is doing. Ports in Asia, ports in Amsterdam, a lot of the jobs done there are by automation. The fear among the Longshoremen Association is that they will lose their jobs if that comes into the fore. Other options include writing into the contract things that give them job protections, upskilling, but at the moment, it seems that they are not close to an agreement.
The story of automation is huge here indeed, Dani, and we can actually put a number on what the impact of a strike would look like. JP Morgan Chase putting up analysis that said this would cost approximately $5 billion a day, or 6% of the national economy. And so many are asking where the president is on this. He could invoke the Taft-Hartley Act to buy another 80 days, a cooling off period. Do we have any indication that's going to happen?
It is very unlikely to happen, Joe. Part of the problem is even if the president were to enact that, give them an 80-day cooling off period, the head of the International Longshoremen Association has said, you can ask my workers to come back, but it doesn't mean that they will work. He said that they would be deliberately slow and has urged the Biden administration not to invoke that. President Biden, for his part, says that it is a matter for collective bargaining, is not one that he wants to step into. But he is in a lose-lose situation. For one, if he were to do that, he might lose the support of the unions, which is crucial heading into this election. But if he doesn't do it, Joe, there could be economic ramifications. No presidential hopeful wants to be dealing with her administration getting headlines about how Christmas is ruined and gifts and things can't come in to the ports of the U.S. and the entire East Coast. So either way, it's not looking like a good situation for the administration. At the moment, all they can really do is work behind the scenes to help mediate the two sides.
Well, and as we consider what this will do to the East Coast of the United States and the movement of transit here on the Atlantic side, Dani, what are the actual options that are out there for rerouting all of this freight and cargo? Is there anywhere for it to go?
There's not a lot of options. They could perhaps go to the West Coast, but according to HSBC estimates, it would only be able to handle 17% of the cargo. What's more, again, the union here said that there would be solidarity. It's a different union on the West Coast, but they implied that the West Coast workers were ready to refuse to unload some of that cargo. Canada isn't much of an option either. In fact, they have their own strike to contend with in the Port of Montreal. Mexico, for its part, it can't handle the levels of cargo. And what's more, trying to get trucks through the south of the United States is incredibly difficult, considering that Florida and a lot of the South is dealing with the aftermath of Hurricane Helene. One of the only options at this point really would be a more expensive option. It would be through use of air freights. But if you're talking about a small business, a small retailer, they won't be able to handle those types of rates. So the big retailers might have that option. A lot of other folks won't.